Hello YouTubers, this is just going to be a brief message as to why Christianity and Islam don't mix. They don't mix quite simply because of a few discrepancies, okay, and I will point them out to you throughout this presentation. Number one, okay, this is my favorite one and this is the easiest one. Now, the Muslims, they say that Muhammad is from Allah, the same Allah who supposedly told Jesus what to do, and guided the Holy Spirit in the apostles and all that, and also was the one Allah who Moses spoke to on Mount Sinai. Now, Moses, we'll start back from Moses. Moses is a classic because he actually said that the punishment for stealing is that you would pay it all back, or if you cannot afford to pay it all back, that you would sell yourself as a servant until you have paid off your debt. However, however, the thing here is, in Islam, the maximum allowable punishment, according to Allah or Muhammad, his Allah's servant prophet, he believes that the maximum penalty should be, or the authorities should be allowed to chop off that person's hand. Now, I find this totally ridiculous, and that the Muslims can sit there and blindly say that the same God that taught Moses and Jesus and the disciples and all that is actually the same God that gave Muhammad this supposed revelation. And I do say supposed. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so what I would just like to know, how do the Muslims come to such a conclusion? They have absolutely no idea of what's going on, do they? Number two, they say that the crucifix existed in the time of Egypt. However, everybody knows that there's no crucifix there was no crucifixion in the days of Egypt. I mean, Muslim archaeologists will tell you that. Non-Muslim archaeologists, atheistic, Jewish, Christian archaeologists will all vouch for the same thing. There is absolutely no proof of crucifixion in the days of the pharaohs back in the old time Egypt. And this is where they're just blatantly wrong and totally contradicting history. In other places, what else can I say? The Muslims, they like to say that the animal sacrifices is what basically makes them holy to God and whatever. Now, in the Jewish system, there was a particular way of actually performing these sacrifices, because it was the way that they were performed in was actually a map to show you who the Messiah was. Now, in Islam, they have absolutely no understanding of the Old Testament. They simply make up their own testament. You know, another point, and this is by far the biggest one. They say Jesus wasn't crucified because Allah, the same supposed Allah that just gave Muhammad all these wrong things concerning historical facts, facts, not theories, basically said to him that Jesus Christ wasn't crucified. He was actually there's something, whatever, a thief hung on the cross for him, or he couldn't die, or whatever this and whatever that, and that's it. You know, this is their supposed revelation from a guy that came 600 years after everybody. Now, what's going on there, people? I mean, everybody knows that Jesus was crucified. Only someone living in their own lunchbox could sit there and say with a straight face that Jesus was not crucified and beaten and tortured for the sins of the world. But, okay, I mean, all historians know this. Um, let's have a look at another one. The Islam in contrast to the New Testament, the Quran in contrast to the New Testament. Basically, they say run around, beat everybody up until you make them submit. I mean, these people sound these laws. They sound like jungle laws, man. This is the kind of law that you would have in a zoo or something. You know, like with animals. You know, bashing each other up all the live long day until one of them gets to the top. I mean, isn't that what these non-religious political entities that rule us do? So why do I need to join Islam to do that? You know. Um, absolutely no idea. People want to say all this, and people want to say, "Oh, the Bible's wrong," and obviously, if they're going to want to try to prove Islam right and Christianity wrong, you're going to have to try and say that Jesus actually told everyone to go out and beat people up and make them submit until or until your religion rules the world. But he didn't. Okay, he didn't. Both historical and factual evidence from anyone who knows anything in the matter, okay, any historian, doesn't matter who it is. If you have to look at the historical record, they all show that Christians were persecuted, treaded upon, they did not retaliate, they didn't partake in wars, they didn't set up religious wars and whatnot. They had no part to do with it. Even when a large majority of the governors or the people in government were actually Christians, they still did not overthrow any governments by the sword, whereas Islam knows nothing but throwing people over by the sword. And the reason why is because they don't have the truth, because they can't have a sword come out of their mouth such as Jesus did. So their sword's a physical one, which is just another brutal bunch of thugs, really. You know. And yeah, for all you Muslims out there who say, "Oh, our laws are so perfect and so whatever," I just want to know, why don't you go back to your countries where your laws are so perfect and whatever, and not come here to any other countries which allow religious freedom, religious tolerance, and allow people to discuss things in an intelligent manner, and being able to present factual evidence rather than just belting each other over the head. You know, I mean, you guys are like seriously outdated. You know what I mean? Totally wrong, huh? I'm shaking my head under this thing, but you don't think you can see it, but you guys are just totally haven't got a clue, mate. Haven't got a clue. Jesus said, if a man strikes you on one cheek, turn the other cheek. He said, if they hate me, they will hate you also if I send you in my name. You know, all the disciples were crucified. None of them partook in wars. None of them led massive rebellions. If anything, they segregated themselves from the world. However, they never took up arms against the world, whereas all of Islam does. Okay? Big difference. Your God and my God have nothing to do with each other. Your God needs more lessons in history, and my God writes the history. Okay? And your Quran just hasn't got evidence in it. Okay? That's blatantly obvious. Anyone wishing to say otherwise, show me the evidence, please. Okay? Enough talk about yippity yap and how whatever, and the Quran is preserving these massive scientific laws and whatever, mate. Put your money where your mouth is. Show me the history, and then we'll continue. Okay, thank you very much. Please stay tuned. I will be posting a part 2 to this, which will consist of scientific proofs of the Bible. Thank you.